Okay, so in this clip, we're talking about imagery. Usually, imagery is something that we talk about when we're reading something, reading poetry, reading a story, reading a novel. And here's a great example. This is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, one of my favorite authors, one of my favorite books. What's great about it is she uses some spectacular imagery. We talked about some of these in class when we read her short story, My Name. Now, when you're writing, it's a good idea to use imagery to make your writing come alive. Make the descriptions much more realistic, to put a picture in your reader's head. To help you understand this a little bit better, I've created a quick slideshow to help you see what I'm talking about. Take a look. Imagery is one of the most powerful tools at a writer's disposal. You can take good writing and turn it into great writing just by adding some imagery. But what exactly is it? Let's take a look. Here's the definition we went over in class. Imagery is a literary device featuring descriptive language that appeals to one of the five senses and paints a picture in the reader's mind. Alright, but what does that mean? Let's take a look at it a little bit more closely. First, let's start with the five senses. We've got visual imagery. This is imagery that appeals to the sense of sight. Instead of this boring line, my great-grandmother wished her life had turned out differently. Take a look at what Sandra Cisneros does in her short story, My Name. She looked out the window her whole life, the way so many women sit their sadness on an elbow. When we take a look at that one line, think of all the things that come to your mind. First of all, you can picture the woman sitting and looking out that window. And you realize instantly that she's doing so with a sense of sadness and regret, that she wishes her life had turned out differently. She wishes she would have been able to make different decisions. You get all of that from that one line, which is much better than the first one. Auditory imagery has to do with the sense of sound. Take a look at this one. Instead of writing, my name makes me feel sad, look at what she did with this one. It is the Mexican records my father plays on Sunday mornings when he is shaving, songs like sobbing. When you hear that, when you read that line, you get a much deeper sense of the sorrow, the regret, the sadness that she feels connected to her name, Esperanza. One thing you should notice, take a look at that last sentence. Songs like sobbing. It's a simile. I know you recognize that. Similes often find their way into good imagery. Tactile imagery. This has to do with touch. Instead of writing, teachers didn't like how it felt to say my name, here's what Cisneros does. At school, they say my name funny, as if the syllables were made out of tin and hurt the roof of your mouth. Another thing about good imagery, sometimes it's not very realistic. We don't know what syllables feel like, but by writing this sentence, she gives us a very good understanding of the fact that these teachers can't pronounce her name. It's much better than the first option. Then we have something called gustatory imagery. This has to do with taste. Instead of writing something like this, the ice cream was delicious, a writer might say something different. I took just a small bite of the ice cream, but it was enough to wash away the heat of the day and lift me into the clouds. Much better. Look at this one. Olfactory imagery. We're getting a lot of good vocabulary here. Olfactory has to do with the sense of smell. Instead of saying something like, the shoes were smelly, which is incredibly boring, look at this. The student had forgotten his basketball shoes at school over the weekend, and when he opened his locker, he was hit with a wall of the foulest odor he had ever smelled. That one might hit a little too close to home for some of you. So that's it. I hope that helps you understand imagery, and what I really hope is that now you can start using imagery in your writing, because one day, you and Sandra Cisneros might have something in common. So that's it. Until next time, this has been the Waddles Writing Institute. Keep writing.